Okay, hi, welcome to my updated vampire deck profile. Still a deck which isn't exactly too competitive, but I still like to play because it's a lot of fun. So I made quite a few changes to it since the last video, so we'll get straight into it. So, 3 Duke, pretty much the standard in this deck. I always like to play him, he's probably my favourite of all the cards of vampires. And he's just useful for most of the utility. 1 Shadow, just because of the fact that I'm not focusing so much on the rank 5 aspect of the deck, and I just find him too restrictive with the kind of plays that he offers. But I mean, he's good for like XYZs and everything whenever the time comes to it. 3 Sorcerer, pretty much the main thing you need of the deck. You can search off of him when he gets sent to the graveyard by your opponent's either battle or effect, and then you can banish him to normal summon any vampire without tribute, which is pretty much the main reason that you have him in the deck. He's just very useful in that aspect. 2 Vamp, I'm running 2 now because of the fact that Cosmos aren't really so hyped, and so you can use this just against pretty much anything, and there's a lot of big beat stick monsters that this can just easily absorb, and then just become such a strong offensive play that you can use. 1 Lord, you can use this just mainly as a Vampire Kingdom target, but I like to use it, but he's also good for other purposes, just being able to send cards from your opponent's deck to the graveyard. And then finally 1 Grace for the Vampire portion. Like I said before, I like her, but having any more than one in the deck just ends up being very cloggy. But just having that extra effect of being able to send a card from your opponent's deck to the graveyard is also a good thing. And that's it, like I said, for the vampire portion. And then just for the extra support, 2 Unizombie. Just kind of standard stuff to have in most zombie decks, having it to send stuff you to the graveyard and then get your plays off. 2 Shiranui Solitaire, just to get any either Unizombie or maybe something like Duke in order to get the effects off, so you can go to like Kingdom plays as well. He's just very versatile in the deck. And then 3 Mizuki, because that's pretty much standard again for zombies, just having triple Mizuki so you can get as many special summons on as possible. And then for additional stuff to make this a bit more antimatter, I run the 2 Effect Veiler and 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, because these are just very useful hand traps as a general thing, because, just being able to destroy stuff and negate stuff is always nice. And since I do run the Light and Darks in the deck, I do stick a BLS in, because I do like him quite a bit. He's probably one of the best cards that's ever come out of the game. So that's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. Just like before, 3 Vampire Kingdom, just gaining that extra attack and damage calc is always nice, and then that effect of being able to pop a card is always very useful in the game. And then I have the 2 MST, or the 1 Twin Twister, because again I don't have enough Twin Twisters to run in just this deck alone, but I do think this works out quite nicely because you don't want to discard too many things at one time. So it works out as a nice balance. 2 Book of Life, Monster Reborn for you, DD Crow for your opponent. You can nerf plays. If you do it at the right time, you can do it against ABCs and they lose a piece, or just things like that. Just very versatile in general. 2 Allure of Darkness, I know it's at 3, but I think 2 is just a good thing because you want to have like your dark monsters, you don't want to lose too much. And then on 1-offs for the rest of the spells. Mask Change 2, which some people can guess what it is. Bear Off in a Different Dimension, get your Mizukis back and your Sorcerers. Dragon's Mirror, which I'll explain in a sec. And the Monarch Storm Forth, because unfortunately it's at 1 now because of Monarchs being so exploitive with this and Aether, I believe it is. And that does it for the spells. And then for the traps, again, I main the Royal Decree. It's probably not going to be as viable. I just use this just so I can stop Solemn Strikes and Dimension Barriers, even though it's probably not going to affect this deck so much because we can utilise Fusions, Synchros, and XYZs. But yeah, it never hurts to have this in the deck, I think. 1 Takeover, just, again, it's having that aspect of being able to summon a vampire from your graveyard and having Kingdom on the field to activate its effect is always good. Shiranui Art's Stored Style, just, it's Icarus attack for the deck, so it works out nicely. And I just run the 1 because I don't have that many Shiranuis to use it with. And Solemn Warning because, it's just Solemn Warning. And that does it for the main deck. My side deck does need work done to it, but I still have these in here anyway. You can use this combination for ABCs and everything, because it's that extra useful. 3 Chalice, because I always like to have 3 Chalice. Spare MST if maybe they're doing stuff like Paleozoics. Spell Striking Arrow for Pendulum sakes. 2 Grand Horn of Heaven, again anti-pendulum stuff. Fantasy Emptiness is just a useful general thing. There are 2 of these in here. A Mistake, because a lot of decks like to search, and Lightning Prism Mirror, because, there's a few decks that are light, which are being tier 1 at the moment, and it works out pretty nice against that. Although I might want to consider putting stuff like Flying Season here because of, Zodiac plays. And then for the extra deck, I run the Draco Necronail, the Soul Dragon, although the Starving Venom Dragon is a very nice alternative for this, and I don't have that, so I might replace that with this. But this is still a good card, I think, for the most part. And then the Master Change 2 target, Dark Law, obviously. Again, this kind of makes this deck a bit more anti-meta, and he's just good as a general thing, just make your opponent ones like Macrocosmos, and they can't search stuff without losing something from that hand. And then that does it just for the fusion plays. For synchros, I run the Ancient Fairy Dragon, because we can utilise both the effects if you really want to, but I may use it for the field searching and gaining 1,000 life points. Black Rose for field clearance if we really need it, and I also have the Clearwing Synchro Dragon, because I can't really find a way to make Crystal Wing in this deck without having to go in some kind of Ultimaster Zolkin play. And then for level 8s, we got the Beals, because it's still pretty decent as a card. Stardust Spark Dragon, because I haven't got second Stardust yet. Hot Red, like I said before, replace it with Starlight, it is just a lot better than what we got. And then that does it for the Synchros. And then the XYZs, we have Heartland Draco, because it can protect itself with a secondary effect. Castell, just useful in general. Cowboy to make a game. Digusto Emerald, just to recycle your stuff if you really want to. Dark Rebellion, just to push for damage. And then that does it for the rank 4s. And then for the rank 5s, finally, we have Adrius. It's another card that can pop other stuff on the field, and then the one Crimson Up Vampire Brand, because he's okay, but any more than one of him, it's not really worth it, and I still need to find a decent priced Gaia Dragon Thunder Charger, because I haven't had much luck with that. I'm just finding a space from the extra deck as well, because it's pretty tight. But that does it for my deck profile for the Vampires. I mean, like I said, I really like this deck. It's very fun, even if it's not that competitive, but I have played it against a couple of other low tier stuff, like I did it against Felgrands recently with my locals, and actually pretty much completely wrecked them because of the fact I was able to draw into Ghost Ogre a lot of times. But yeah, that does it for the deck. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I shall see you next time for whatever I do next. So long, take care.